Hey YouTube, I've got this Balloon Lagoon item to fix today because the batteries were corroded. When I got it, I bought it from a charity shop and it had rotten batteries inside. So luckily 2 of them came out quite well, but one of them was just completely destroyed and leaked, and it had took the connections with it. So this video is going to be all about fixing it. Hope you find it useful and give you an idea how to fix your own items to stick on eBay. So I'm going to open up the battery cover. This uses a Phillips screwdriver. So as you can see 2 of the battery springs are good, but this one at the bottom is all corroded and rusted on both sides. So the job today is to replace that with a new spring. So I bought this from eBay. I think this was about just under £2, and it comes with the spring, or 2 springs and an end cap. So I'm going to open up the whole unit now to see how this can be repaired, because this board game will sell. Well, I sold one last year for I think about £20, but I actually had 2 of these, and this year the one I've got hasn't sold, so might have to reduce it. So it might not have been worth repairing after all, but I've already bought the parts, so I might as well fix it now. And it'll make an interesting YouTube video. So here's the inside of the casing. And let's just put those at the side so I don't want to lose those screws. So it looks like I've got to solder or maybe I won't have to solder this end. I've got to solder one of them, but not both of them. So I didn't know what I actually needed, but the kit I got came with 1 spring, an end part, and then a spring combined with an end part. And from the look of this, it looks like I'm going to need the combined one and the separate spring. So to begin with, I'm going to replace the one that doesn't need the solder. And this looks like all I've got to do is peel back these little tabs here, and the battery bit should come out. So I'll try that now. In fact, looking at it, that might not need replacing, you know. Although it's probably good practice to replace it, so I will replace it. I've got the parts, so might just stick a brand new one in there, I guess. So there you go, that's the old one. And this is the new one. Now whether it will just fit neatly, I don't know. I think I've got to bend it somewhere in the middle, like that. And then that will slide in between. So that doesn't look like it fits very well. So on hindsight, I think I'm going to clean up this one and I'm just going to replace the really bad one, which is the spring on the other side, which is the part that requires soldering, unfortunately. But I can do that. So snap off the solder and then use the end of my screwdriver just to push the old spring compartment out. There you go. As you can see there, it's completely destroyed. The spring has snapped off, rusted away. But I can replace it with a brand new one. So I'll just give it a bit of a tap just to clean out the old rust, and then put the new spring in, making sure the bit where I'm going to solder the wire on goes through the end. Hopefully this will fit without any cutting. Sometimes you might have to cut these down so they fit in the slots, but this one looks pretty good actually. And of course, if you're only replacing the one of these, then you need to make sure that you're replacing like for like. So when the end user comes to put their batteries in, it doesn't look like it's been repaired, because that might put off a few buyers and cause you to get a return request or something. So on the other side, so I put my spring in, as you can see there, looks quite nice and neat, and on the other side I've got the tab where I'm going to solder, and I'm just going to bend that over like that, just to make sure that that spring can't fall out now. And then I will solder this wire to the end of the tab. But of course I've got to clean up the other side here. It's a shame I can't use the replacement part I got. But as you can see, if you compare the two here, this one's slightly bigger, so it's not going to have the right effect. So I think I might try it actually, because I don't think that's gonna go in right. What I might do here is use this old one for the spring, and then use the separate one for the other part. See how that goes. So that back in. As long as these two parts touch, which they will do if that tab's there, then it will look pretty clean, I think. Put the tab over the top there, like that. So these two are now intact, although they're not strictly touching. So what I'm going to do on this side, I'm actually going to solder a wire between these two so they are touching then. That's how I'm going to fix it, because I'm soldering this one anyway. So I might as well solder a wire between these two. So now I've got the soldering iron. What I've got to do is to solder this on. So Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, and as you can see, I've got solder on that wire and the original wire is soldered as well. So now it's just a case of putting 3 AA batteries in and pressing the button and seeing if it works. Okay, the batteries are in. This is the little button that actually does the work. Let's see if it works. Perfect. So now I'll put the actual top part back on. And it should start to look pretty finished. Just going to make sure that the centre part clips into where the button goes. And all the screw holes are lining up. Okay, so that's the cover on. Still works. So I'm going to call that fixed. So it's just a case now, taking the batteries out, because I'm not sending it with batteries. You can see here now I've got the 3 complete battery compartments. That's one of the ends that I fixed, and that's the other end. And it looks pretty much the same. You wouldn't be able to notice from the untrained eye whether they've been replaced or not. And then I should just put the battery compartment cover back on. Tighten it down with the screwdriver. And now that's ready for sale again. Excellent. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then please think about subscribing to my channel. Got lots more similar videos coming out this year, so keep an eye out for those. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.